I'm glad you're joining us back at the hub. Oh yeah, great, 7-0. It's a good feeling, isn't it, to win, but to win big also. And let's hope that this type of, victory can continue in terms of may not be as big a score, but at least if it's a dominating performance and if it's a solid performance and everybody is sort of in sync and doing their part and producing results, I think every fan of United would be happy with that. At the same time, we don't want to get too excited. We want to sort of temper our enthusiasm because it is, after all, Carabao Cup, League One side Barnsley, but there were a lot of good things we saw taking place during that game on the United side, and we'll get into it here on my Man United Hub. And I'm glad you're joining us today, and it's woohoo, yeah, 7-0, 7-0. Feels good, doesn't it? So let's kind of get into, and we'll go through the scoring first of all, and then we'll kind of touch on some other aspects as we get into our review here. I tell you, good signs all around in terms of scorers. Four different scorers, and three of them are the ones that are in attack in front, and Eriksen chipped in with 2 goals from the midfield. So that's all good and positive, and we'll talk about each one of these goals in terms of scoring and the type of approach, the chemistry, the way they move the ball, retaining possession, not giving up possession sloppily as we've seen in the past. And again, in context of who the opposition is, but you still have to go out there and perform no matter who you're playing against, no matter the competition. And it's good to see that the guys were hungry to perform, hungry to attack, hungry to score, and in the context and in consideration that they were given a lot of space, and it's a League One side who may not have all the type of capabilities as a, let's say, premier side or top elite side in terms of pressing, in terms of possession, in terms of the quality of football. It's still good that United put in excellent performance, a solid performance, a complete performance, and came out with a total victory yesterday. I really appreciate your support for the channel, so do me a favor and subscribe, follow, like, share, do all of the good things that you're supposed to do to help me grow the channel. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for a lot more content here on my Man United Hub. Thanks. Every United supporter would have been pleased to see Marcus Rashford in amongst the goals. A pleasant sight indeed, and the type of goals also, because he's taking on players, taking on defenders, and he finished with both one goal on the right foot and one on the left. So that's certainly going to help his confidence. There were question marks about his form, his confidence, his lack of confidence thereof. And we certainly want to see him prospering amongst the goals, and it's a good sign, and let's hope that that can continue, because we really need him to pick up the scoring from, let's say, 2 seasons ago, not having any kind of performance like last season, of course. So that's pleasing. That's a positive sign, and in my opinion, it's down to Ruud van Nistelrooy. I can't say that for certain, but I do know that Ruud is having an impact on the attacking side of things, on the forwards, and you can see already that I think it's making a difference. But we'll wait and to make a judgment, because there's more sterner tests, like I said, to come, stiffer opposition in the next few weeks. So, and I think Crystal Palace this weekend will be a big test for the side. Let's see how they perform. What can you say? Garnacho was Garnacho. Good to see him though in the box. In amongst the trying to get into the box, dribble, fighting for the ball, and he was there at the opportune time to toe poke that goal there. And then the other one was typical of Garnacho, long ball fed him, using his speed and finishing competently. He's a good finisher, and I think he's the better finisher between him and Diallo. So but it's good to have for Ten Hag to have options on the wings, and I guess these two specifically will be fighting it out in terms of starting positions on the wings. Good problem to have for Ten Hag. I'm sure he's happy to have it rather than a pile up of injuries as we saw last season and limited in his options. Just a mention of Anthony as he chipped in with a goal. I mean, he created the penalty and he finished off the penalty in fine style. So give him credit. And I think he's fighting for position too. And so he has to really make a statement to the manager, not just in terms of scoring a penalty, but also his overall play as one of the wingers and also competing for a starting position in that, at that a space on the wing. So he has a lot to prove because he came in, big money move, of course. Hasn't really lived up to expectations, but he did score, and let's see how Ten Hag sort of rotates the players and who he chooses in terms of selection, in terms of starting this weekend against Palace, and then a big test, really the bigger test, Spurs, in the following week. So let's see what happens. Also nice to see Christian Eriksen amongst the goals, doing what he does. I mean, he had that shot from the outside for his second goal, and then being in the box, making a run to finish it off from across from Bruno Fernandes. And he was involved in the play, obviously, being given a starting position again, and really did handle in terms of the midfield. That ball he played out to Garnacho for that goal. Excellent. I mean, a great pass there. So it's good to see him involved. I mean, he's obviously, he's 32 now. People questioning his ability. I think he didn't have a good, in the Nation League, any good performances for Denmark recently. So it's good that he's playing an important role here, and good to see him. Obviously, I don't think he is going to be the starter. Fernandes will be starting, but it's good to have someone like Eriksen on the bench to come in and play in these type of games, and also even as a substitute. But remember, Eriksen did sort of pull a surprise against Southampton when he started Eriksen, and it seemed to work well. But I'm not sure if that will suffice for when bigger games come against bigger teams in terms of those at the top of the table, and the Cities and the Arsenals, Liverpool, Spurs, etc. So, but let's see what the manager does in terms of his rotation with the squad that he has. I would like to mention the performance of Manuel Ugarte coming in. He's a solid quality player. Okay, nothing extravagant, but he is good defensively. I think we're yet to see how expansive he can be in terms of distribution. From what I've seen from both players, I'm not that familiar with Ugarte as I am with Casemiro. Casemiro does have that a little bit of extra spark, creativity, in terms of the creative side of things. But you can see Ugarte is pretty much the real deal in terms of his defensive capabilities. You can see that in that second goal for Garnacho, it was Ugarte who had come and stolen the ball from the opposition, and that's where the play developed. And finally, it was Christian Eriksen's pass that got Garnacho on his way to score his second. But Ugarte, you can see, is instrumental. He does have that ability to get in the fray and steal possession, and that's one of those occasions where he did that. And again, I'm waiting to see in terms of on the other side of the coin, in terms of distribution going forward. making those passes through the midfield into the attacking side of things. How good he can be there, and I think he's only going to get better. So I'm looking forward to positive things. But I like what I see with him. I think it's a good player acquisition, and it's going to make the midfield for United a little more solid there in terms of defensively, having someone of that quality just in front of the back four. So I'm happy with that, and I'm looking forward to much more from him too. Well, I'm certainly glad you joined us. I hope you're enjoying the content, and we will try to do as much as possible to bring you good content, good analysis, good reviews, good commentary on what's happening with Manchester United, all the latest news and updates. So stay tuned, and we look forward to having you back again soon. Thanks a lot.